Chapter 303, DE. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. With looks of awe, Han Jingzhong and Jiang Tangai bowed their heads and followed the Red Wish emissary and the Purple Wind emissary into the camp. This was a vast military camp established amid the mountains as well as a training base for the barbarian elephant army, the strongest army of the Square Commandery. There were horse farms, places for martial arts, and camps exclusively for training savage beasts. There were only 3,000 soldiers in the base, but even the most inferior among them had a martial cultivation in the dawn state of the Earth realm. Outside of the camp, they were all powerful practitioners of martial arts. All of their mounts were brute elephants. A four-armed brute elephant was an inferior savage beast. Although they were the weakest, who could defend against a charge of 3,000 brute elephants. Even the martial arts legends in the heaven realm would be crushed. Possession of an army this strong was sufficient to sweep across all the 36 commanderies in Omen Ridge. Such a barbarian elephant army required a massive amount of spiritual crystals to fund as well as all the possible masters. However, the royal family in the Square Commandery did not have the funds for such an army, and they also did not have the popularity to attract so many masters. So, the army did not belong to the Square Commandery, but to a big shot in the black market. At the moment, the big shot was sitting at the head position in the main tent. The man wore gold-rimmed dark steel armor and a gold iron mask, and his hands peeking out of his sleeves were white and delicate. It was clear that he was young. However, it was a young man such as this whose body emitted a strong sense of cold. Besides him, 10 other martial arts masters sat within the tent. The Commandery Prince of the Square Commandery, the leader of the Hades Department, the chief chairman of the Poisonous Spider Club, and the mansion master of Rosefinch Tower. Almost all the powers of the black market were present. Each of them had a reputation that would terrify anyone who heard it. Of course, aside from them, there were other young talents who had no right to sit, standing off to the side. Among them were 7 young masters from the black market and a few newly promoted young evil warriors. A thin man stood amid these ruthless people. Wearing grey linen clothes, he leaned against the wall with an iron sword in hand, and a whiff of dead air emanated from him as if he had no emotions. If Zhang Yuochen was here, he would recognize the man as the deadly swordsman who was determined to join the black market. Nevertheless, he had already become one of the best young killers in the Hades department. He could kill a warrior in the heaven realm while his cultivation was in the earth realm, and thus, he was highly regarded by the overseer of hell. In the Hades department, his strength had already surpassed its young master, Ziyan Yang. But, Lo was so solitary that he barely talked to anyone. He was just like a human-shaped stone. In addition, another 2 young warriors of the Hades department were in the tent. They were Ziyan Yang and Ziqian. Their status dictated that they could only stand in the corner. Only breathing sounds could be heard in the tent. The atmosphere was very tense. The iron-masked man sitting at the head said in his husky tone, "I'm disappointed that the black market has been oppressed by the Martial Market Bank and the Moon Worship demonic sect and left without room to move. This is not like us." The Poisonous Spider Club, with over 10 martial arts legends in the heaven realm, is the biggest club of the black market in Omen Ridge, whose power has stretched out through the 36 commanderies. Chairman Hu, what is your opinion on this issue? Hu Qinai, the chief chairman of the Poisonous Spider Club, was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat and his legs trembled as if he had been summoned by death. He was over 100 years old and his martial cultivation had reached the fish-dragon realm, already beyond the realm of mortals. But before that mysterious man, a feeling of immense dread pounded in his heart. He stood trembling and saluted to the man, saying, "Young master, the situation in Omen Ridge is very complicated. Not only the Martial Market Bank and the Moon Worship demonic sect, but all powers are formidable, such as the Tai King Palace and the Yuntai Suzerain. They are both 4-class suzerains with half-saints that cannot be ignored. Moreover, boom." The man in iron mask hit the table and sneered, saying, "If such is the case, what's the point of keeping you alive?" The Red Wish emissary and the Purple Wind emissary both stood behind him. The former wearing a red cloth and was sexy and enchanting. the latter wearing a purple gown with a dragon pattern and was handsome and powerful. After hearing the man, the Red Wish emissary and the Purple Wind emissary immediately understood. They stared coldly at Hu Qinai. Chairman Hu, if you can dodge one of my blows, you will not die. The man wearing purple, the Purple Wind emissary, carried a dragon-head iron spear, and rushed toward Hu Qinai. He appeared before him in a flash. He squeezed his 5 fingers into a palm knife and struck toward the chief chairman's left shoulder in a streak of purple light. The Purple Wind emissary's power was precisely controlled and not a single strand of genuine chi escaped. As the poisonous Spider Club's chief chairman, Hu Qinai was also a powerful master. Twisting his body and pushing up with his legs, he tried to retreat rapidly, but a sharp pain came from his shoulder before he could move. Shunk. Hu Qinai's left arm was sliced off by the purple-tinted machete force and landed on the ground. Blood spurted from his shoulder and the whole tent was filled with the strong scent of blood. The Purple Wind emissary glanced at Hu Qinai but did not attack him again. He retreated back and said, "Since you were able to dodge my blow, you won't have to die. But you should know that I only used 1/10 of my cultivation. If I used my full strength, not even a bone of yours would remain." "Thank you, Purple Wind emissary." "Thank you, young master." At once, Hu Qinai knelt on the ground, constantly kowtowing to the iron-masked man. All the men in the tent swallowed and felt even more afraid. Hu Qinai was an immensely powerful warrior who had already surpassed the heaven realm, yet he lost his left arm to the purple-robed man. How powerful was that purple-robed man? He looked to be around 20 years old. Even if a warrior could slow down aging, he could be no older than 50. It was terrifying that he could reach such heights before turning 50. The man in the metal mask said, "You don't have to be afraid of me. We're all working for the black market, so we should cooperate." "Maybe you are still ignorant of my identity, so I will introduce myself first. I am the top master in the Eastern Region Black Market Excellence Hall. You can call me DE. If you have read this issue of the Eastern Region Report, you probably know me. It was me that defeated Bukion Fan in 3 strikes. Although I just have reached the Earth realm, I hope you won't underestimate me, or else it will not be as simple as losing an arm." The man named DE smiled and continued, "There are 2 main reasons for my visit this time to Omen Ridge. First, the black market must completely control Omen Ridge. Regardless of the Marshall Market Bank, the Moon Worship Demonic Sect, or other local forces, all must be subject to the black market. Second, I will find the legendary Dragon Sarira and hope that you all can help me." The Square Commandery Prince asked carefully, "Young master, what is the Dragon Sarira?" Yi answered, 800 years ago, there were 9 top powers in Kunlun's field, called the 9 Emperors. Among them was a man who cultivated as a Buddha and was called Buddhist Emperor. In order to unify the world, Empress Kaiyao had to march into the Western region and suppress one of the 3,000 Buddha's sects. As the prophet of Brahma, Buddhist Emperor inevitably had to fight against her at that time. As recorded in the historical records, Empress Kaiyao won the battle. She suppressed the Western region and defeated the leader of Buddhism, the Thousand Buddhas sect. After Buddhist Emperor's death, the Sarira left behind was swallowed by his mount, Golden Dragon. Golden Dragon escaped as Empress Kaiyao was hurt, and later, Empress Kaiyao sent warriors to kill it and loot the Sarira. Empress Kaiyao didn't expect that Golden Dragon had refined the Sarira into a Dragon Sarira. Its cultivation had also increased and destroyed everyone that Empress Kaiyao had sent. Although all of the enemies were killed, it was badly hurt and eventually died as it escaped. Since then, the Dragon Sarira vanished. I searched through all the ancient books in the Black Market Excellence Hall and finally found something in one of them. At that time, Empress Kaiyao's power was at her peak. After sweeping away the 9 emperors, she was completely unopposed. After Golden Dragon was hurt, it ran away to the bleak Eastern region. In the Eastern region, Golden Dragon had a junior, the old overlord in Omen Ridge, 4-winged Earth Dragon. I guess that the badly wounded Golden Dragon died right in Omen Ridge. 4-winged Earth Dragon had 2 caves, one in the Chikong secret mansion of Omen Ridge, the other in the Dragon Palace at the bottom of the Tongming River. The war 500 years ago destroyed the Chikong secret mansion. The dragon Sarira was probably taken by someone if it existed there. However, the underwater dragon palace still has its mysteries. If four-winged earth dragon had the dragon Sarira, it would hide it in the palace. Those heretics of the black market were excited after listening to Yi. The Sarira of the legendary Buddhist emperor was possibly in Omen Ridge. How could there be anything more exciting? Owning the Sarira meant owning the inheritance of Buddhist emperor. Of course, they did not dare to get the dragon Sarira. It belonged to Yi. But, if they helped Yi to retrieve it, they would have done a great deed.